Good Thursday morning, everyone. Welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report. John here with Kaiser on the sofa over there. You'll see a picture of him at the end of this broadcast today. We got a few things to talk about today. One of the major accomplishments yesterday was the announcement that not only Hyundai is coming in to build a plant here, and as well as Honda now. And the tariff situation has shown one more time everyone is upset in the stock market, and people that think that they may be getting hurt by these tariffs. The tariffs, as I said in the past, are going to be used for negotiation processes, which we have a master at negotiation in this country as president right now. The art of the deal is alive and well and working well in our behalf with regard to getting new jobs, good jobs, and steel manufacturing back in this country, as well as automobile manufacturing, which was a big driver in the economy of this country for many, many years, that disappeared overseas with the advent of a lot of overseas cars being brought in with little to no tariffs on them and being sold here. And now we're asking, if you want to sell a car here as a foreign manufacturer, you need to build a plant here and build the car here, or at least buy the components for building these cars from American-made manufacturers, which is coming back, folks. It's coming back. Steel manufacturing is coming back. Yesterday, he announced that they're going to get behind clean coal one more time. And that in the Appalachian community here is a very, very important boost to the economy, because the coal business was pretty much shut down between Hillary Clinton, Obama, and then Biden, who threw a monkey wrench into what we had as a coal industry here. And, with the drying up of the tobacco industry in the Appalachian regions, as well as the coal, it was a devastating blow to the people here that made their living every year on these particular products. And this is a rich area for coal. It is a major employer, or was a major employer, and I applaud the fact that it's going to come back under Donald Trump.
Excellent, excellent.
The tariff situation is not, as the mainstream media is portraying it to people, as a holdup for the economy. It is not. It is a negotiation process, and in the areas where they will pay higher tariffs on products coming into this country, such as your pharmaceuticals, which are largely made between Ireland, India, and China. And do you want to depend on going to into a negotiation against the aggression of China and have all of your medications being held up? I don't think so. And we have a president right now that is painfully aware of what has happened and taken place in the last 12 to 15 years of doing business with China, where China was flooding our country with copied devices and copied, in some cases, software that is not helping the situation or the economy here in the United States. And we now have a president that is extremely aware of what's going on in China and Russia and around the world, where we have people that really don't like us but depend on us for their livelihoods and money. Well, that's coming to a halt because DOGE has uncovered a lot of fraud and waste, which will be corrected as we move forward with the reestablishment of America on the marketplace of the world as being the premier place to be. So move your manufacturing back here. Don't pay the tariffs, or continue to manufacture and throw stuff into this country free of charge? I don't think so. It's not going to be that way for you any longer. So go ahead and move your manufacturing back here, employ American people, and employ great people to do the business that you're in. So that said, let's go to a little of what's going on with the crying, screaming mainstream media that we have to listen to every day. And then in the press conferences, it's almost a joke at what they're trying to do with their gotcha questions one more time. And who is the head of running their mouth, trying to trap the press agent in the press room? It's CNN one more time. So they have the gotcha questions, and the press secretary, who I believe for a young lady is doing a marvelous, almost perfect job at, we've suffered through 4 years of someone lying to us and trying to step around every question. This press secretary is going to deliver a smackdown to anyone that is going to question the validity of our current administration. Take a look here.
And I was negotiating with them. All of a sudden, they raided my house. They didn't raid the house of Joe Biden. They didn't raid Obama.
But Joe Biden didn't ignore a subpoena to get those documents back like you did.
And so that's the question. 1,850 boxes.
But that's the question that investigators have, I think, is why you held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's the answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to, you're a nasty person, I'll tell you. Fake, disgusting news. And we are making a lot of progress, so that's all I can report. But some very, very big talks are going and detailed talks are going on right now on both fronts.
Mr. President, you said that your national security advisor learned a lesson after a reporter.
Excuse me, I didn't make you. Go ahead, please.
Mr. President, the ceasefire agreements that.
At the chat, at one point, Pete Hegseth wrote 14-15 strike drones on target, and in all caps, he said, "This is when the first bombs will definitely drop." Does the president feel that he was misled by his national security advisors, whoever it was that told him there was no classified information in there, now that he's seen these messages?
I've now been asked and answered this question 3 times by the both of you, and I've given you my answer. The president feels the same today as he did yesterday.
Okay,
Philip.
And on my follow-up on what you had just said.
Go ahead, Philip. Caitlin, I'm not taking your follow-up.
I have a follow-up on something you just said, though, Caroline. That's
Caitlin,
regarding
I'm not
Jeffrey
taking
Goldsberg.
your follow-up. Philip, go ahead. I've called
Thank you. The vice president seemed to express some frustration.
Denied.
Now, why don't you have some self-respect and leave?
All right, zip it.
You can't even...
Zip it. Zip.
Look, all
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Exhibit A.
Frown, would you please...
Kisuhai Pindawa, Nitahiyoto. Subtitle, zip it.
I want you... Stop. This is... You know... You're like a child. Talking... If you... Just... One time...
Zip it.
Thank you, Mr.
She does a wonderful job at holding back these idiots that want to make a gotcha question every time they open their mouth. And it's not going to happen with this administration because it is a transparent administration. Everything that happens within this administration is right there in front of you. They tell you, unlike hiding behind different stories like we saw with the Biden administration for 4 years, sends a press secretary out like Sideshow Bob to just carry the lie that comes out of the White House. And we still do not know who the heck was making the decisions in the Biden administration. It certainly wasn't old Joe, because he had a cognitive problem and probably did not. This is why they were using an auto pen to sign everything from him, because I don't believe that he ever really knew about half of the things that he signed off on. And then when they did prop him up and drug him up to go out and talk to us, it was at best an attempt at lying one more time. And we know that old Joe was a master of lies, because it was clearly evident toward the end of that administration when that debate took place. It was very telling. And now yesterday they're talking about that there were plans underway if something happened to him by Kamala Harris that was trying to rush herself into a position that she was not qualified for, nor was Joe Biden qualified to be president of the United States. And anyone who believes that he got 80 million votes in the 2020 election, boy, I've got a couple of things I'd like to sell you, so give me a ring here on the comments and let me know your thoughts on that. But we all know now, see, the lid is off. They kept a lid on this for so long. They've lied to us. And these louts that are sitting in Congress right now on the Democratic side that are continuing to try to make Donald Trump look like the worst person in the world, and everything that he is trying to do, they are throwing a massive stumbling block in the way, because they don't want it out how bad they were in the cover-up of having a cognitively crippled president for 4 years, which they full well knew, and that lays right at the lap of Schumer and that bunch that were in charge. Remember, during his administration, you had a democratically controlled Congress, which means you got nothing worthwhile put through unless it was a DEI law somewhere or an attempt to make you believe something that isn't true. Do you know the world went on fire under that administration? There is no taking that back. It happened. And now we have a cleanup process going on, trying to clean up what happened at the border for the 4 years that they had an open border process, all while Mayorkas and Biden and Harris came on this TV and told you that the border was secure. But yes, we have MS-13. We have cartels with drug involvements in this country, and then Tren de Lagua that are coming into this country out of the Venezuelan jails, which they don't want them back. There's a reason they don't want them back. And anyway, this all took place over the 4-year term, and now when we're trying to clean it up and get rid of the thugs, murderers, rapists, and everyone else first that came into this country illegally, I don't care what you want to call it, they're not refugees, they're not asylum seekers by any stretch of the means. We all knew that, but we were lied to for 4 years, and we had to put up with what was taking place under the Biden guidance of open borders, which almost killed this country, not only financially, but socially, and we have lost American lives as a result of it. But this continues, and the flap-over leaks that we hear today, which they're all exercised in Congress and asking the questions of Tulsi Gabbard and everybody involved with this signal mistake that was made, which, by the way, was not what they say it was. They're trying to whip up something to use against the cabinet members that were put in place by our president for a reason, because they know what they're doing, and they can get to the end result here if allowed to do it. But then we have a bunch of Obama-appointed and Biden appointment district judges federal judges that think that they can override the executive branch of our government because they've been empowered to do so. By who? Because the Supreme Court is going to have to get involved in this. But until Biden's screw-ups are brought to life within the media, which will never report anything but something negative against this administration, are brought to light and proven to be, we all know, we all have seen it take place. We all have seen the trust put in the Taliban by Joe Biden, who actually came on the TV and told you that they were relying on the Taliban to keep ISIS and Al-Qaeda at check. What kind of a fool would even think that the Taliban would go along with that? So we left them billions of dollars worth of war equipment and turned over a Air Force base or an airport to them that was a strategic spot for us to be in and needed because it was very, very close to where China manufactures and distributes most of their nuclear weapons. So we gave that to the Taliban for exchange for what? 13 American lives and countless numbers of people trying to get on that airplane that was leaving. Never, ever forget that. That was Joe Biden's at his finest, as Morning Joe once said. This is the best Joe Biden ever. Remember that. So take a look here.
We are protecting our service members while also restoring peace throughout this globe. It's something the previous administration has not done. And I would just add one more point. We are not going to be lectured about national security and American troops by Democrats and the mainstream media who turned the other cheek.
Bunch of bitches.
When the Biden administration, because of their incompetence, left 13 service members dead in Afghanistan, and not a single person in the previous administration was held accountable for that botched withdrawal. Joe Biden said, in fact, it was a great operation.
Flashback. Remember what I said about Afghanistan? I said Al-Qaeda would not be there. I said it wouldn't be there. I said we'd get help from the Taliban. What's happening now? What's going on? Read your press. I was right.
No, sir. You're a disgrace.
That is despicable. It's unacceptable to this president and this Secretary of Defense. The National Security Advisor has taken responsibility for this inadvertent number being added to the messaging thread. But above all, we take the lives of our troops, safety, security, prosperity around the globe with the utmost seriousness.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Well, it's amazing at what we see and what we are witnessing in this day and time from the do-nothing Democrat side of the aisle that is trying to find their new position and new way to bring socialistic government into our country, which we have rejected, and 77 million people have rejected that just as soon as last November. And they better wake up and realize that we, the people, have voted and we know what we want. This is why the Biden administration numbers are still very high. And no matter what mainstream media is telling you, or what this Crocket person is out there trying to say, or AOC, these people are communists. There is no doubt about Bernie, about AOC, and now this Crocket woman who is trying to pretend she's someone else and then insulting the governor of the state that she represents was unbelievable. And then when asked why she's not apologizing, she lied to the media and lied to us about what she really said. It's like they think that we didn't hear what they said. They do it, we hear it, and then they say, you didn't hear what you think you heard. This is the Democratic way of getting away with things that they should be censured for, but never happens. These people do things that are almost borderline illegal in some cases and walk away. If you're a Democrat, you're free to do whatever you want. If you're a Republican and you did this, you'll be in the news cycle for 6 months straight. So Crocket is refusing to apologize to the governor and then lies about what she actually said. Take a look here.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crocket of Dallas is drawing criticism for recent comments she made about Governor Greg Abbott and Elon Musk.
You know, a lot of people see you out front fighting, but nobody's really asking you, what do you need to maintain that fight? So thank you so much, Morgan, because we in these hot-ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot-ass mess, honey. So yes.
Referring to Governor Greg Abbott as Hot Wheels, Abbott was partially paralyzed when a tree fell on him decades ago.
Houston, Texas.
I was just jogging along like any other day that I was out running. And then bam, a huge explosion type sound occurred right next to me. Next thing I knew, I was down because this huge tree had fallen on me.
Greg Abbott soon realized he would be permanently paralyzed from the waist down.
Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot-ass mess, honey.
Many hours later.
You liar! It is worth noting, Scott, that she has, in the past, made a tweet that did refer to wheels and rolling before.
Yeah, and she tried to walk it back and obviously forgot about her previous commentary using that exact same insult. I don't know how the Democrats came to appoint Jasmine Crocket as the unquestioned leader of your party, but thank God.
This is a person that cannot be trusted with the job that she has been elected to do, and whatever happened to Texas that would have elected a person like this. She is a privileged young lady that has a private education, comes from a rich family, pretends that she can act like she's from the hood, and is a nasty person. But then again, she's in good company with Maxine Waters, with AOC, and with crazy Bernie Sanders. And I want to tell you this today, because there's 3 people in this country that take over all the money, and I can't get my share. That's Bernie. That's another piece of work that keeps getting elected up in Vermont. He's from Jewish Brooklyn. The accent is there, the mannerisms are there, and yet they keep electing him. Why? I don't know. So our great Democratic senators and congressmen that are sitting in judgment now of our department heads, such as national security, the military, and the mistake that was made through supposedly getting this reporter on. And I still believe in my heart that that was a setup. And I believe because, you know, his wife used to work for Hillary Clinton. And how his phone number got into that signal message is it's not far-fetched to think that the left side didn't have something to do with this. And this was their gotcha moment. But what backfired on them is that this thing went off and there was no secrets in there. And then the mission was entirely successful, which they don't want to report on. They want to report on what they think was a real mess up. Well, when you talk about mess ups, let's take a look at Afghanistan. Let's take a look at the fires all over the world that took place under the last 4 years of the Biden-Harris administration. And then let's talk about that in your Senate hearings where you're chiding people on a job well done and trying to make it something it isn't. So there is what's going on in your Congress today. And speaking of Congress, the hearings on the cutting of the funds of PBS and NPR is unbelievable. What these questions and what they're getting as answers from these people in charge of these programs, such as the woman that called names of Donald Trump in 2020. I'm not even going to repeat the ugly comments that she posted. And then when asked about it yesterday, her answer was that I really regret posting that. I wouldn't put that in writing today. But she still thinks that. And then asked the Congress to support them one more time. It needs to be cut back. They make plenty of money. If you think you're going to go on to PBS on a Saturday night and get the programming that you are used to getting, you run into the thing where they're raising funds. Call in for this. We'll give you this CD. We'll give you this bag for so much money and that. And they get plenty of money through their own fundraising. So to support somebody that hires only Democrats and say that they're not politically driven is amazing that they want you to swallow that as the truth when all along they know better. They know what they're doing. They are a Democratic arm, PBS and NPR. There's no doubt about it. They're not the same PBS and NPR that we grew up with by any stretch of the means. They are woke beyond woke. And we know that. So why are we funding it? I think it's very good that DOJ is looking at the amount of money that is handed over to PBS to make you believe in untruths and ideology that is not really good for your children to be ingesting. So woke Disney, they're feeling the burn now over what they tried to pull off with Snow White, or No White, as we saw yesterday in the memes I posted. Well, let's take a look here.
There's not someone out there with a terminal illness that's willing to do it? I mean, I'm sure people are willing to help if you're willing to do it.
I also want everybody to know, if you come to our country illegally, this is one of the consequences you could face. First of all, do not come to our country illegally. You will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But know that this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people.
Do you think that white people should pay reparations?
I have never said that, sir.
Yes, you did. You said it in January of 2020. You tweeted, "Yes, the North. Yes, all of us. Yes, America. Yes, our original collective sin and unpaid debt. Yes, reparations. Yes, on this day."
Gotcha, bitch! No matter how many surgeries you have or chemicals you inject, if you're born with male DNA in every cell of your body, you can never become a woman.
So wokeness is alive and well at PBS and in Disney, and probably the state of Maine that wants to fight for men to compete in women's sports, and so on and so on. So we have a lot of that going on. We have California that exhibits they're the poster child for all this junk. And we have Gavin Newsom out now with a new outlook on life and what he really thinks. Yet the laws that he has encouraged in California still exist. He's not changing anything. He's not making anything better. People are bailing out of California in droves. They're unbelievably corrupt out there. They've let fires happen. They've let everything, including water, dry up in all of Southern California because of a refusal to listen to what should have been done. And they were told time and time again, if you don't do these things, you're going to have catastrophes. So they have a catastrophe, and now they want to convince us, along with the Democratic Party, that it's all due to climate change. And it's all due to the fact that everybody needs an electric car and everybody needs to give up their gas stoves and refrigerators. And let's just go back to living in caves. And we can draw pictures on the side of all of the ideology that they're trying to make mainstream in this country that we have rejected. And when they realize one more time that their ideology has been truly rejected, maybe they'll stop trying to force it upon us. So there's your Thursday report from the Kaiser Report. And I wish you all a great day. And don't forget, if you are planning something for the weekend for cookouts or anything of that nature, don't forget our sponsor here, Lazy J Farms and Butcher Shop, located in Kingsport, Tennessee. And you'll find their number right here. You can look them up on Facebook. You can go to lazyjfarms.com, and you can place an order at any particular point. And if at all you're interested in having it delivered, that would be fine, because they'll get it out to you, the cut of your meats exactly as you want them, and delivered to your door within days if you so choose. If you're local, go down and see them, ask for Butch the Butcher, and tell him how you'd like your cuts made, and he will do it for you while you wait. And listen, tell him Kaiser sent you. So with that, we wish you a rest of a very happy Thursday, and God bless you all. And remember, stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned to the Kaiser Report for further commentary and bits of news that you won't hear anywhere else. God bless. Bye-bye.